Hey everybody, it's Ian the Off Kilter Crafter. I hope you're having a great day today. Today I'm going to be putting together this card, which was actually commissioned by my mom. She's not paying me for this, but she wanted a card to tell somebody that she was thinking about them. They've been sick and she wanted to make sure that they were thought of and appreciated, if you will. Anyways, so she commissioned me to use the Simon Says Stamp card kit box, and she kind of had an idea with it, and I took that idea and ran with it, and this is what I was able to come up with. So let's go ahead and put this card together, and you'll see some of the steps and some of my thought process while putting it all together. So these were the supplies and materials that my mom has tasked me with creating the card with. As you can see, it uses that Simon Says Stamp July it's a subscription box, kind of. Anyways, it's their card kit box. And as you can see, it is dealing with flamingos. I had cut this flamingo when I cut out this flamingo, and I put the card together that looks like this. I cut this one out because I was going to try and maybe fit it on somewhere or do something with it, and it just didn't quite work on that card. So it was left over, and she wants to put that on the inside of this one. On the outside, she wants the be a flamingo in a flock of pigeons, which is the exact same sentiment that I used on this one, but she wants to add a little twist to it and make it into a get well card for one of her friends who was in the hospital. So we're gonna figure out how to do that. She also wanted these flamingos to be cut out in flower shapes, and I think I'm gonna use the Cricut and try and place some flower shapes around it whenever I can do the SnapMat feature of using the iPad. I'm talking really kind of disjointed here because I'm still working through this in my head. But anyways, I think I can use the SnapMat feature to kind of go around them with flower shapes, and I'll have to kind of go across the whole page, or I don't know. Anyways, so I'm gonna do some of those. She wants some of the flowers, she wants to use the pink cardstock, and then inside the card kit box, they already had some pre-cut and scored pieces of paper, so I'm going to be able to use these to create the card with. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so it's already ready to go. We're good to go on that. I'm gonna work now on, I shouldn't have folded it yet because I still need to send this through my Cricut. She wants to write with a pen on the inside of the card, so I shouldn't have folded it yet, but I did. It's fine. It'll still stick to the mat. Anyways, so I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna start working on the iPad for a minute, just kind of lining everything up, and I'll bring y'all back whenever I get everything, hopefully, how I want it. Okay, now I kind of have a better idea of what I'm doing and how I'm going to do it. So now what I'm going to do is, you can actually zoom by pinching and zooming in that way, and I've set it up in SnapMat so that I almost keep saying Snapchat. You open it up in the SnapMat feature, and then I can take the little shape and put it around some flamingos. So I'm going to do that. I have about 9 flamingos. I don't know if I'm going to end up using all 9, but I at least want to have some on hand that I can use. So I'm just going to go around and put that on there. I'm also going to put the writing on top of the card, so that way it'll write on the card. And we'll come back whenever we finish with all this. Okay, I've cut out all the shapes and I've written on the card, and as you can see, it didn't quite write where I had hoped for it, and it didn't quite cut where I had asked it to. I know this is out of focus, but let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Well, okay, so it's close. It's not horrible, but I definitely, on some of these, I like almost cut the head completely off. Like this one, the head is almost completely gone, but you know, that's the problem with SnapMat, is it gets it close, but it really has, it has a lot of wiggle room to it, so you have to be careful. So not something that would ruin the card, but something that is a frustrating moment if you're trying to get something super accurate. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and continue, and the next step is I need to go ahead and cut out the pink cardstock. Whoa, I'm throwing stuff around apparently. Next I need to cut this pink cardstock out using my stitched rectangle die, and we'll do that now. Alright, the next step I'm going to do is I have my clear cling stamp on my acrylic block, and now it is time to use some VersaFine ink to ink up this stamp. Whoa! Picking up the ink pad there. And then after I do that, maybe it'd be better if I just did it this way. After that, I'm going to use some clear embossing powder to emboss the sentiment and give it a little depth and texture and interest and whatever other adjectives or verbs you want to use to add to that. Okay, now that I've gotten the heat embossing out of the way, it's time to go ahead and put this all together. So I'm going to take my note card here, 4 1/4, 5 1/2. That's going to fit on there just like that. And since it warped a little bit, I am going to use my Tombow Extreme. This is heavyweight cardstock. I don't even know how heavy it is off the top of my head, but definitely feels heavier than a normal 80-pound, 60-pound piece of cardstock. So I want to make sure this sticks down pretty nicely. So I'm going to use that, and then we'll put the flamingos on. Alright, now to put on the flower die cuts, I'm going to use the Scotch adhesive dot roller to get these on. Sometimes this mat is bad with how well it grips everything. Alright, so we'll put some adhesive on the back, and I'm just going to sprinkle or randomly place these around the front of the card. Alright, I think that will kind of do. I know it's the rules of threes and you're not supposed to have like 6, it's supposed to be an odd number, but I just don't feel like it'll really, like, this won't work any. Frustrating. Sometimes it just doesn't work out the way you want it to, but you know, it's not a big deal, it's fine. Next I'm going to take the glitter die cut and just run some adhesive on the back of it. And then I'm going to add it on the inside of the card. And there we go. It's a little off kilter, a little wonky, but what else would I create? It is, I think the recipient is definitely going to know that she's being thought of, so I think that's the most important thing about this card, right? Sometimes when you feel your creation is not the best, or like you're not pleased with something, you have to remember it's not you that has to be satisfied with it. I know that the person receiving your card enjoys that you thought about them, took the time to create something for them, are thinking about them. You know, there's a lot of steps that go into creating a card, and I know the recipient is going to love it no matter how bad you think that card is. So remember that whenever you're creating, and try to keep everything positive and just keep moving forward, because ultimately it's the thought that counts, right? Sometimes the simplest of gesture can have the most impact. Okay, now that I've turned into one of those quote posters or quote books, let's go ahead and end this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and let YouTube know that you like my video, and then hopefully YouTube will then share it across YouTube land. Also, if you're not already, hit that button down below that says subscribe. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and get great updates every time I post a new video here on YouTube or go live. It'll send you notifications when you click that bell icon, all that kind of stuff. Make sure to do all that below. Also guys, don't forget to check out my social media links down in the description below. There's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and more. Seem to be more active on Instagram, so if you're not following me on Instagram, you're missing out on some of my stories and some of my posts, so make sure to go check me out over there. I hope everybody has a great day, and remember guys, normal is just a setting on the dryer. Bye!